Hello everyone, it's Alistair and Will from the SportSpiel podcast, here to introduce to you a lockdown treat. The Olympics may have been postponed for a year along with virtually every other major sporting event across the globe, but that doesn't matter because the biggest sporting event of 2020 is still happening and it begins right here. Welcome to the SportSpiel Mastermind quiz, in association with our good friends at the Mintridge Foundation. That statement about it being the biggest sporting event of 2020 does still stand, even though the German Bundesliga has started up and got underway again. And I'm certainly looking forward to it, if you are as well. I'm sure you are.
Yeah, it's going to be fun to be pitting different types of questions to athletes and actually getting them having to think rather than just tell their story, really. It's actually going to be nice to see their brains whirring.
Exactly. We may have got a lineup of people who've won countless championships and medals throughout their careers, but this arguably presents the biggest mental challenge they've ever had to face in their sporting careers.
Especially if I'm quiz master and I'm going to be setting them very tough questions.
I can't put it any lighter than that. That's just fact. So I'm going to quickly run through the rules for anyone who doesn't quite know what we've got in store yet. Pretty self-explanatory in that we've got 8 participants. All of them are athletes, sports stars, and all of them are ambassadors for the Mintridge Foundation. Each participant will answer 5 questions on a specialist topic, which they will obviously give to Will in advance. So he can set some very challenging questions for them. And then they will answer 5 questions on sporting general knowledge. Happy days. So 10 questions in total. This is the fun part. It will be a straight head-to-head knockout format. So that means we've got quarterfinals in store, semi-finals, and then a final where we will get to crown the SportSpiel Mintridge Foundation Mastermind champion. Arguably the biggest honour that any of these people could have. It's taking place over Zoom, of course, because everything does these days in the new world, and we're going to be releasing them over social media and on our YouTube channel as well. So it's not going to be in a podcast format, it's all going on social media. So I flip my page over. What are we doing today? What's the point of this video? As it's knockout rounds, this is the point where we have our draw to see who will be facing who in our quarterfinals. Very exciting, obviously, and I'm kind of fulfilling a lifelong dream at getting to do a draw. We don't have fancy balls like the FA Cup does. We've got pieces of paper and a bowl with flamingos on it, which, same difference, does the same thing. But first, I suppose I'd better introduce our 8 participants who are actually taking part in our quiz. First up, got Pamela Cookey, former England netball captain. Georgie Roberts, our Olympic track shooter, who was, of course, a guest on our podcast. England international rugby player Zoe Harrison is taking part. Also an international rugby player for England, George Furbank, is taking part. Danielle Brown, another former guest on our podcast, Paralympic champion at archery, she's taking part. Then we've got British judo athlete Dan Powell, journalist, presenter and wheelchair basketball athlete Jarrett Bryan is taking part in the Mastermind Challenge. And lastly, we've got Scotland and Middlesex cricketer Olivia Rae, who also was on the podcast relatively recently. Lots of sporting talent there. Quiz talent, we're not quite so sure yet. Up for debate. Any ideas who might be your favourite at this stage?
I couldn't possibly say for fear of wanting to annoy them. It's going to be good, though. It's going to be good. I think these are going to be hotly contested rounds, and I think we may need to have a couple of tiebreakers up our sleeves as well.
Well, we will. We've got some tiebreaker ideas in the pipeline if that is going to be needed. But it is essentially winner takes all, such as knockout rounds, and why they're so exciting and why they're so good. So, onto the main event, I suppose, and the whole point of this, and that is the draw. Will has got a pen handy, I hope, to write down the ties as I pull them out of the bowl. I'll pull them out of the bowl. They're all written down on pieces of paper, everyone's names, and I've folded them up about 8 times, so I can't actually see whose name is on which bit of paper, so no one can accuse us of any match fixing. So, first participant is Pamela Cookey. Dun, dun, dun. And Pamela is going to go up against Jarrett Bryan. That's our first quarter-final.
Battle of the courts there. Netball versus basketball.
Yeah. See who comes out on top. Next up is Georgie Roberts, who will go up against Dan Powell.
Finesse versus strength in terms of sports.
Not bad. You're good at finding these little links here. Next up, Olivia Rae. Will go up against Danielle Brown. So,
sports that have taken place at Lord's Cricket Grounds.
There's always a link, which means, so long as I've done this right, planned it out accordingly, George Furbank goes up against fellow England international rugby player Zoe Harrison.
Is that arguably the tie of the round, rugby versus rugby?
Could well be.
Northampton versus Saracens.
Definitely some good rivalry ongoing already. So give us a quick recap of the matches we've got coming up.
So first of all, we have Pamela Cookey taking on Jarrett Bryan. Our second match, Georgie Roberts against Dan Powell. Third match, Olivia Rae against Danielle Brown. And fourth match, the all rugby affair, George Furbank versus Zoe Harrison.
I'm really quite excited we've got an all rugby affair out of that.
I was hoping that was going to be the case. We didn't finish it though.
That is like the Man United versus Man City scenario. Right, with that, we have our rounds and our ties for the quarterfinals. We're then going to get recording them and see how they go, and then we'll release them day by day over on social media. So make sure you keep tabs on our Facebook pages and our Twitter pages to see each one as it goes out. We'll obviously give everyone plenty of notice, but it should be a good bit of fun for everyone's lockdown, we hope.
And you can play along as well. You can see if you're actually know more than a professional athlete.
Which is arguably the main thing about all of this.
Yes.
You can all test our own quiz knowledge as well. And I'm sure you'll come up with some corkers of some questions for our competitors. With that, it is goodbye from me on this particular video. Goodbye from Will. Feel free to wave. And we'll see you for the first of our quarterfinals very soon.